Good morning. Welcome to the Long Live Alternative Parties podcast. Free Press Media Press Inc., an alternative parties books publisher, sponsors this podcast. I'm Andrew Bouchard.
Greetings.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you, Tim?
I think I'm going to make it today.
Excellent. That's what we want to hear. Friends, welcome to the Long Live Alternative Parties podcast. We have Tim Lewis of the Libertarian Party going to talk about the race he's running for. So welcome, Tim.
Well, thank you very much, Andrew.
Let us get started by you kindly giving us an introduction to yourself, a brief biographical sketch.
All right. Well, like you mentioned, my name's Tim Lewis. I'm running for delegate here in the 88th district in Virginia. Most of my adult life has been spent in the Marine Corps. I retired out of there after a little over 20 years. I did combat operations in Iraq and Afghanistan, did peacekeeping operations in Kosovo and other parts of the world. I then retired from there, went on to work with the Department of State, where I traveled to all the bits of the world that I hadn't yet been to in the Marine Corps. And I recently left there to work with another government agency where I work as a contractor.
All right. Sounds good. So kindly tell us how you got involved in the Libertarian Party.
Well, like most people, I didn't really start out in it. I guess when I was a kid, my brother already claimed Republican. So I said, well, I'll be a Democrat, and that way we can have something to talk about. And that was until I learned more about what the Democrats actually stood for, what they actually stood for. It wasn't about leaving you alone and letting you make the decisions about your life. So for a good while, I joined my brother over on the right, being a Republican, thinking they were for smaller government and more independence and more liberties, until I realized that, like the Democrats, they were feeding us a bunch of lies as well, looking to promulgate their own party and continue their own power over the political spectrum. I was sitting around one day listening to the radio, and I heard this guy named Neil Bortz talking about a party I hadn't yet heard about, Libertarian Party. And it also promised to defend individual rights and let people make decisions for their own lives. So I said, well, let me give these guys a try, see if maybe they're going to tell me the truth about what it is they stand for. And the more I hang out, the more I believe they are for that, and it's certainly what I'm for. And until they show me otherwise, this is my new house. This is where I'm going to sit politically. It's just about having the right to determine your own course in life.
The 88th district in Virginia, where is that located, and what are the demographics of the area?
Well, the biggest city out here in the 88th is Fredericksburg. I guess it's about midway in between the capital of Richmond and Washington, D.C. along I-95. So we have about half of that city of Fredericksburg, and we have portions of the three counties, Fauquier, Stafford, and Spotsylvania. It's a district made up of about 80,000 voters, or I'm sorry, 80,000 residents, about 50,000 registered, with about 30,000 that historically have showed up to the polls.
Excellent. So kindly tell us, what issues are you bringing forth in this campaign, and what is your campaign platform?
Well, the first platform I started running on is one that it takes too long to talk to the person at the door about, but it's repealing certificate of public need legislation. Are you aware of that?
No, kindly enlighten me.
All right. So, well, certificate of public need legislation used to be national law. The United States passed it amongst all 50 states. They thought it would bring down the cost of health care until they found out that it didn't, and they said, well, we're going to repeal it nationally, but if you want to keep it on your states, then you can go ahead and do that. And Virginia continues to do certificate of public need law. So what is it? Well, that means that if a hospital wants to do something as simple as buy an MRI machine or open a NICU, they have to petition amongst their local population to see if the local population wants it. They have to put together this package. All of this costs money. They have to send this to Richmond and say, Richmond, can we please buy this new expensive piece of equipment or open this new facility and offer this service to our citizens in the area? And if Richmond looks at the package and says, well, it sounds good and it looks like you're supported, but this hospital right here next to you, they already offer that, and it could take away from their business. It'll create unfair competition with the established hospital next to you. So we're going to deny it. They can do it for a reason as simple as that, and they have actually. In Salem, they had applied to build a NICU within their area, and they sent the package. It was heavily supported by their local citizens. They sent the package to Richmond. They said, well, now Roanoke, right next to you, they already have a NICU, so we're going to deny this. And so Salem wasn't able to. Lo and behold, kids are being born in Salem. If they have to be rushed to the NICU and the special ambulance that can get them all the way into Roanoke isn't nearby, it's costing lives. The hospitals that have the services have a monopoly on those services. They can charge what they want for them. It's denying medical care and medical coverage to areas that don't already have that pre-established monopoly. And it's raising the cost of healthcare. It's costing lives, and it just needs to go. It's time. Of course, I told this to some people who were, when I get the chance to explain this to people, they're like, yeah, no, that makes sense. Let's get rid of it. And I can't think of a real good argument to keep it around. But when I explained it to one of my campaign advisors, they said, well, your other policy of repealing the tax on food is a lot easier and quicker to explain to people. So I can't argue with that either. So my main focus and my quick pitch, my shoe in the door, as it were, is you need to eat food to live, and Richmond thinks you need to pay them for that privilege. We tax food here in Virginia. If the grocery store so much as cuts up the fruit and puts it in a little platter for you, you're also paying a prepared food tax for that. Richmond shouldn't make money off you just trying to live. I think it's wrong. I think it's immoral. The Republicans actually adopted this campaign cycle. Glenn Youngkin's out there in the gubernatorial race saying this will put more money in the constituents' pockets, and he's right. But that's not the reason to repeal it. Yeah, it's a good side effect, but the real reason to repeal it is because it's immoral for Richmond to think you need to pay them to live. It's just as immoral if they tried to charge you for the air that you breathe.
So is this food tax on top of sales tax?
No, it's a segment. It's a sales tax on food.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So kindly tell us your campaign strategy if it's not proprietary. How are you reaching out to voters, and how are you planning on getting the most votes you can get?
Well, I'm doing the simple time-tested approach, and I'm knocking on as many doors as I can within the district. Now, it's a pretty big district. So, of course, I'm trying to focus my time on the more populated areas with the closer houses. But no, it's word of mouth. It's getting out there. I am the lowest funded candidate of the three that are running here. But I've been gifted by some very generous donors who gave from their heart enough to get some campaign pens, get some yard signs, and get some door hanging material. And I invested in a good pair of shoes, and I'm doing the old-fashioned go around, knock on doors, and talk to people. I don't think that's proprietary.
Oh, good. We don't want to give away any of your secrets before the election. So
No. The only secret I have is that other people might be a libertarian. They just don't know it yet. But I'm out here not keeping that a secret. I'm trying to let them know that.
trying to bring it out in the open.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned earlier you have campaign advisors, and we have people in the audience who may want to run for office themselves. So how do you assemble a team, and how do you motivate a team?
Well, gosh, when I say campaign advisors, I just mean people who are close friends of mine who are helping advise me when I have questions about my campaign. I haven't hired people. I got some people who help out when and where they can. It's awfully tough. Coming from a military background, a lot of my friends and supporters are still in the Marine Corps or still heavily involved in U.S. government positions, and they simply cannot come out and help campaign for somebody running for office. After the January Capitol incident, the DoD really locked down on what service members are allowed to do when it comes to politics and campaigning. So it's been real tough in that regard, and a lot of it's really just been me going out there knocking on doors. I wish it was more glamorous than that, and I wish I had more help on that, but I was put in a pretty tight spot when when all that happened.
How do you handle dogs when you go door to door?
Oh, that's the worst part about campaigning. I feel bad every single time I knock on the door and I stir the dogs up. No, I don't mind dogs. I love animals. Yeah, I just feel so bad to disturb them when I go around and knock on a door.
So how are people receiving your campaign in your area?
Well, I think it's been largely really supportive if they're willing to listen uh, to the message. Now I do a lot of listening myself. I go out there and I talk to them. I see what they're running. But when it comes to me talking to them about how my campaign aligns with what it is that they're heartfelt over, they're like, yeah, well, you're still third party, and if I vote for you, it means that other person's going to win. Whether it's a Democrat telling me that it's a Republican going to win, or a Republican telling me it's a Democrat that's going to win, they both say, well, you pull more votes from our side than you do from theirs. And yeah, I just really wish people would vote their heart instead of their party. But apart from that, if people are willing to listen, and not really just listen to me, but listen to their own hearts and where their morals fall, and who's actually backing what it is they say they're for. I think we align on a lot more than we differ on.
Are the voters in your area familiar with the Libertarian Party, or do you have to start from the first base and tell them what it is?
It's kind of tough. Some people have preconceptions about what the Libertarian Party is, and I ask them to just give me a quick rundown of it. I try and clear up any misconceptions, but no, we've become more well known over the years, and we're certainly over 50%. We're sitting around 80 or plus percent party recognition when I go door to door.
Well, that's good. Well, that's good. So you don't have to go into the basics. You can start your spiel about what your campaign is focusing on then.
Right, and there's some misconceptions that we clean up, but they're aware that it's a third party. It doesn't hit them completely out of the blue.
What are some of the misconceptions that they're thinking about?
Well, some of them have heard of Vermin Supreme and the Free Ponies and the toothbrushing campaign. And of course, that's the public face of Vermin Supreme. The get your attention before I lay some truth on you, Vermin Supreme. There's a handful of libertarians who do that sort of, and I love them, but kind of shock jock, grab your attention approach to campaigning. And some people are turned off by that, and other people are attracted by it. Some people think it's a complete anarchist, lawless, turn into Mad Max situation, scary anarchy. But we clear that up. There's a wide berth when it comes to the Libertarian Party. It's a big umbrella party, and we've got everything from total anarchist to minarchist to anarcho-capitalist to anarcho-communist. And I just try and tell people, so long as you're not looking to use the government to make me live by your rules or you live by my rules, I think there's room under here for us to get along.
So how can our audience members, whether they live in your area or elsewhere, support your campaign?
Well, the biggest thing is word of mouth. There's nothing that beats word of mouth. If you live in the area, then vote for what you believe in, not what a party tells you to. Okay, if you and I'll tell you, if you heartfelt believe in the person's policy, then you vote for him. And if that's not me, then don't vote for me. But if you believe in what I'm saying, then vote your heart, not what a party tells you to. If you live outside of the 88th district and you like what it is I'm running for, but you know somebody in the 88th, then I encourage you to call them up or shoot them a text and let them know about the campaign. Let them know what's going on. And if you visit any of my social media or my website, do the classic like, comment, and share. Get the information out there. Somebody knows somebody in the 88th district. I can be found on any of the major social media platforms at Tim, the number 4 VA. And my website's easy to remember too. It's Tim, the number 4 VA.com. Unlike the folks I'm running against, you can see exactly what I stand for there on that website. It's not a strong Christian conservative and American values. I have specific campaign platforms, things I'm running for, things I want to change about the way Virginia does government and does business with its citizens. It's all there, written out, probably in too many words, I've been told, but it's all there for people to see. I'm not hiding behind cliches or platitudes. Check it out. And if you enjoy it, then I invite you to please share it amongst your friends. There's a donate page on there, but I've done something that one of my advisors is really upset at me for doing. I'm asking people, look, I've got pens, I've got yard signs, I've got door hangers, and I'm doing the work of walking around door to door. If you feel like donating to a campaign, I invite you to find a charity that is near and dear to your heart and give to those people instead. Volunteerism is a very big part of my life. I encourage people to take the non-governmental approach to be the change that they want to see in the world. I invite them to pursue those passions, to get people out there who can make that change, and maybe start a nonprofit and make that change yourself. But I still have a donate button, but I'm asking people, we got what we need. We're not going to make more impact with more money at this point. So if you want to support financially, then donate to a cause that supports what's in your heart. And I guess the last way is if you're in the area and you want to help me man some polling stations on the 2nd, then reach out to me. There's a number of different ways to do that on my website, tim4va.com. And let me know that you're interested in sitting outside your local polling place. I can bring you some signs to put up, and I would appreciate your help.
Wonderful. So, Tim, thank you for coming on the podcast today. We wish you all the best in your campaign and your future endeavors.
Hey, I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so much for reaching out. And it's been an absolute pleasure sitting down with you today.
Awesome. All the best to you.
Thank you, sir.
Goodbye.